Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Gaia Sanctorum. Pull up a chair, grab your tea, and let's talk about something that's probably happening in your head right this second. Your mental body. You know, that voice that's running in the background while you're watching this, the one that's maybe planning dinner or wondering if you remembered to lock the door or critiquing something you said 3 days ago. Yeah, that's your mental body. And here's the thing. Most of us think that constant mental chatter is just who we are. But what if I told you that it doesn't have to be that way? According to Sage Popham's work in evolutionary herbalism, uh, to truly enter the kingdom of nature, we must suspend our rational thought from any potential interference of the mind will get in the way of our capacity to directly perceive. Your mind is supposed to be a tool that you use, not a prison that you live in. So let's talk about what happens when the mental body gets out of whack. And I think a lot of these people struggle with all the time. You might find yourself overthinking literally everything until you're exhausted, walking into rooms and forgetting why you're there. Damn doors. Lying awake at 2 a.m. with racing thoughts, making pros and cons lists for the fifth time and still not being able to make a decision, or just feeling like your brain is wrapped in cotton wool and you can't think through it. Sound familiar? You're so not alone. And today, we're going to explore why this happens and what you can actually do about it. And I'm not just talking about thinking more positive thoughts, which, if we're being completely honest, it doesn't work, especially when your nervous system is dysregulated. So, what actually constitutes the mental body? So, in the five bodies framework, the mental body is about way more than just your thoughts. It's the entire ecosystem of your mind. It's how you think, it's what you believe, it's your capacity to focus, and even the quality of the silence that you can access when you're trying to be mindful. According to one of my favorite herbalists, Stephen Buhner, he said that modern society has it backwards, that we think that the brain is in charge, but that actually the primary organ of perception and cognition is in the heart. And he's not far off because your heart forms first when you're an embryo. It has its own neurological cells and it has an electromagnetic field that is 5,000 times larger than your brain. And this is huge for understanding mental body health because, as he explains, we need a trinity of consciousness, right? We sense with our heart, we feel with our mind, and we think with our body. And when we get stuck only in our heads, which is what he calls the mind without heart, we end up in a kind of madness. So, real mental body balance means dropping down from pure intellect, getting out of your head and into the intuition and heart wisdom. Now, the mental body doesn't exist in isolation, right? It's constantly dancing with the other four bodies, which is why it's part of the framework. Your physical body provides the hardware, the brain tissue, the neurotransmitters, the nutrients that fuel cognition. The emotional body fuels your thoughts with feelings. Ever notice how anxiety creates anxious thoughts and grief creates depressive thinking? It's because they're connected. Your energetic body provides life force. And when you are energetically depleted, that's when all the brain fog rolls in. And finally, your spiritual body. It allows you that higher perspective that can kind of witness your thoughts without drowning in them. And this is why when we only work on the mental body through talk therapy, positive thinking, or even meditation, we often miss the root cause that's actually in one of the other bodies. So I wanted to talk about the mental body in terms of patterns, because there's a few patterns that I see regularly when I work with clients. See if you recognize yourself in any of these. The first would be the overthinker. This person who literally cannot turn their brain off. They're analyzing and planning and rehashing conversations from last week, preparing for every possible future scenario, and they live almost entirely in their heads. From Matthew Wood, when he talks about tissue state work, this often shows up as wind or constriction. It's tense and wiry and resistant. It's where the nervous system gets stuck in hypervigilance. Your mind is trying to think its way to safety because somewhere deep down, you don't feel safe. The next pattern would be the brain fog person. Everything feels slow and cloudy, like you're trying to wade through molasses. You start things and forget what you're doing. Simple decisions feel impossible. In traditional energetics, this is often damp stagnation with cold depression tissue states. The body's dampness and lack of metabolic fire is literally creating fog in your brain. The root cause is usually somewhere in a physical body issue. Things like B vitamin deficiencies, low omega 3s, blood sugar crashes, thyroid imbalances, or inflammation. The third one would be the anxious mind, racing thoughts, worst case scenarios spinning, that hamster wheel that will not stop. This is almost always a combination of nervous system dysregulation plus unprocessed emotional body stuff. Popham teaches that this is vata excess, air element, scattered, changeable, fearful. The next one is the rigid thinker. And this is the person that has black and white thinking. They can't see other perspectives. They have deeply held beliefs that feel like questioning them is a threat. In energetic terms, this is stagnation, stuck mental patterns mirroring stuck energy overall. It's also often emotional protection. The rigidity is defending against feeling something that's just too scary. And then the last one's the scattered mind. Can't finish anything, constantly distracted, 10 projects started and nothing completed. This can also be vata excess with a lack of grounding, or the mental body avoiding the emotional body by staying busy up here so that you don't have to feel anything down here. So, knowing the patterns is great. Understanding why they actually happen is even better. So, let's go ahead and get into the root causes. Your nervous system is running the show. This is huge. When your nervous system is stuck in fight or flight, your brain literally is wired for threat detection. This is why your anxious thoughts won't stop. You're not crazy. Your nervous system thinks that you're in danger. And so your mental body is trying to protect you by hypervigilance. The second root cause, your brain needs actual nutrients. And this isn't woo-woo. This is actual biochemistry. Your brain needs specific nutrients to function properly. B vitamins, especially B6, which helps you make dopamine and serotonin and GABA. B12 and folate help synthesize neurotransmitters. They also help with cognitive function. And when these nutrients are deficient, in comes depression and anxiety and brain fog. The next nutrient that is really important is omega-3 fatty acids. Your brain is literally 60% fat, with about 20% of that being omega-3s. So DHA and EPA keep your brain cell membranes healthy. They reduce neuroinflammation. Next would be magnesium. It regulates GABA and serotonin. And a deficiency in magnesium is directly linked to anxiety and depression. And magnesium is one of those minerals where supplementation is actually incredibly beneficial. So when these are off, all the meditation in the world isn't going to fix the mental body issues. Next would be unprocessed emotions creating thought patterns. And this is where things get real. So unprocessed anger becomes that critical voice in your head. Unprocessed grief becomes depressive thinking. Unprocessed fear becomes anxious rumination. The thoughts are the symptoms. The feelings are the root. And then inflammation. Chronic inflammation anywhere in the body creates neuroinflammation. So when you've got elevated inflammatory markers like IL-6 or TNF, they are strongly linked to depression, anxiety, and brain fog. And this is why gut issues, autoimmune conditions, chronic illness so often present with mental health symptoms. So the beauty of all this and the beauty of understanding the root causes is that there are many plant allies that can help support your body in getting better. So this is always the fun part. I love talking about plants that help. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to match the herbs that I'm talking about to the patterns that we just talked about. So it's a little bit easier to understand. So for the overthinker, you want to cool the hot, busy mind. So planetary herbal medicine, when the mind is hot and agitated, we need cooling, calming Venus herbs. So, and I know I hammer this one to death, Scullataria, Latiflora, Skullcap is my absolute go-to for rumination. It is a cooling, drying, bitter mint ruled by Mercury and Saturn. Matthew Wood notes that it's one of the best cooling sedatives and is used specifically for mental tension and overthinking. It literally helps cap the skull, which is where it got its name. Passionflower, Passiflora incarnata, and it's beautiful for breaking that thought loop cycle. It is ruled by Venus. It's got some moon qualities to it, and it really does bring peace to an anxious and overthinking mind. Next, blue vervain, Verbena hastata. It is also specifically for the overthinker, somebody who's trying to control everything through mental effort. It's great for angry, irritable thoughts when you have that pitta heat in the mental body. It's cooling and drying, and it kind of helps release some of that rigid mental tension. All right. The next one, or the next category of herbs, is going to be for brain fog. So when your mental energy is sluggish and dull, that is a kappa pattern with dampness, and you need gentle fire and air to kind of get rid of that fog. First one would be rosemary. Rosmarinus officinalis. It's a sun herb. It increases cerebral circulation and it literally rises to the head. It's great for cold depression tissue states. It's warming and drying and really clears up those mental cobwebs. Gotu Kola. So this is a true mercury herb. And it's also a nootropic. It is proven to enhance cognition while staying cooling. So it's perfect for brain fog with heat patterns. And then holy basil, oxymum sanctum. It's a warming adaptogen that is ruled by Mars and Jupiter. One of the things I really love about it is it calms without sedating. It helps bring strength and focus to a mind that's feeling depleted. The next set of herbs are for the anxious mind, for nourishing that frayed nervous system. For anxiety, Vata excess, nervine relaxants that are sweet plus grounding Saturn herbs are the prescription. So immediately what comes to mind is Milky Oats, Avena sativa. It is a nourisher to the nervous system. It's a moon herb. It nourishes memory. It helps rebuild a depleted nervous system. It's perfect for when anxiety comes from complete exhaustion. Lemon balm, Melissa officinalis. It's a Venus Mercury herb that helps soothe discord and cool mental heat. It's gentle and uplifting and calming, and it's perfect for scattered anxious thoughts. And then ashwagandha, Withenia somnifera, is a Saturn herb. It's very grounding and nourishing, especially when anxiety is rooted in depletion or burnout. It's warming and building, and it really helps with regulating cortisol patterns. So, next, for mental rigidity, when things are stuck in stagnation, these herbs will help create flow. So Damiana is Turnera diffusa. It is a Mars herb and it helps with releasing that rigid depressive thinking. It helps bring back playfulness. Peppermint is a Mercury herb and it helps disperse stuck mental energy. It brings in a fresh perspective. That aromatic quality that it has literally moves stagnancy, not just in the body, but also in the air. Lavender would be another one for this. It helps release mental tension while calming. It's perfect for that rigid, tense quality. And then last group is for the scattered mind. So we're going to need some grounding and some anchoring. When your mental energy is all over the place, which is your Vata excess without grounding, we need earth element herbs. So hawthorn, it helps scattered people come back to center and it brings your energy from your head into your heart. Brahmi, which some people know as Bacopa, it enhances focus and memory while calming scattered energy. It's very cooling, it's very nourishing. And then wood betony. So this is a very specific herb for grounding scattered mental energy and for helping people who live in their heads come back into their bodies. I hope that helps. Daily practices that actually will help with this. So it's great information, but how do I work with it? So let's talk a little bit about daily mental hygiene. So in the morning, before you reach for your phone, and I'm serious, take 5 minutes of silence. Just lay there. Notice your thoughts without actually engaging with them. This is heart wisdom or the gnosis cardiaca that herbalists talk about. Set an intention for your mental body that today your energy is going to be clear and focused or calm and peaceful. Then when you get up, take your herbal allies, nervine teas or tinctures matched to your specific thinking pattern. Feed your brain. Make sure you're including protein in your breakfast because neurotransmitters need the protein for building blocks. Stabilize your blood sugar. Balance your meals every 3 to 4 hours. Take your omega-3s, at least 1,000 milligrams that are combined EPA and DHA. Take a B complex vitamin for cognitive support, magnesium before bed, 200 to 400 milligrams for mental relaxation. Regulate your nervous system. Your heart's coherence brings your whole system into harmony. So practices like vagus nerve toning, which is like humming or gargling or water on your face, doing breath work that increases your exhale. So 4 in, 6 or 8 out. Somatic practices that bring awareness from being in your head to bring in your body. Get out in nature. Get out of all these overstimulating environments. Just a couple suggestions. And then this is super important. Your evening wind down. Create a digital sunset. All screens should be off for an hour before bed. Create a herbal sleepy time blend. Journal to download your thoughts so that they don't ruminate on that hamster wheel all night. Any kind of body-based practices instead of a more mental input. Here's something that's crucial. You cannot think your way out of dysfunctional thinking. As my mentor's teachings emphasize, transformation happens across all 5 bodies simultaneously. Instead of trying to positive think your way out of anxiety, notice where it lives in your body. Give your nervous system the resources that it needs. Work with herbs that address the root of the patterns. Instead of beating yourself up for brain fog, investigate your physical body causes, nutrients, inflammation, your thyroid. Support your energetic body and use appropriate herbs. So here's what I want you to remember. Your mental body isn't isolated. Those thought patterns aren't just in your head. They are connected to your nervous system. Emotions, energy, physical health, and spiritual connection. And that's actually amazing news because it means that you have multiple entry points for healing. You don't have to just meditate harder or think more positively. You can nourish your brain with what it actually needs. You can calm your nervous system so that your mind can actually rest. You can process your emotions that are driving all those anxious thoughts and use plant allies matched to your specific pattern. You can restore your energy so that you have vitality, which leads to mental clarity. Real mental body healing happens when we address those root causes across all 5 bodies. Just like traditional teachings emphasize, life comes into existence only through dynamic interactions between elemental forces. I do want to note, and this is very important, that if you are experiencing mental health symptoms that are severe enough to disrupt your daily life, please seek help from a medical professional. I am all for self-empowerment, but certain conditions require medical intervention. If you feel that your doctor is not listening, get a different one or reach out to any one of the mental health hotlines available. I will link 1 or 2 in the description below. If you are dealing with chronic mental body issues and you want a comprehensive 5 bodies assessment that creates a personal protocol just for you, not generic advice, but precision medicine for your unique system, go ahead and check in the link below. And then tell me in the comments, what is your biggest mental body challenge? I read every single one and I love hearing from you guys. Next week, we are going to be diving into the emotional body. And that is, in my opinion, where most of the real transformation happens. So you won't want to miss it. Until then, may your mind be clear, may your thoughts be kind, and may your mental body find the peace that it's been seeking. I'm Danielle, and I'll see you in the next one.